Welcome to this speedrun of Specter Flight 100%. The rules are as followed. I have to collect every item from a legit source, meaning I cannot duplicate such thing as like hookshot and then have two hookshots. I have to collect every heart piece, every rupee shard from the map, inside the map, and of course beat the credits. You may also notice that there is no sound or music. There is music. I will have that post-edited, and the reason for that is because I, on accident, didn't record all layers of my audio, since I forgot to do that on my streaming profile too. I did it on my recording profile, but not on my streaming profile, so I'm sorry for that. Regardless, this one was still pretty good. This map has a unique feature. It's called the sprinting feature. If you hold R, it increases your speed by a whole lot. For the exchange of some stamina. Stamina drains and regens pretty fast, so managing that is a key feature of the run. This map also uses these text box cutscenes, which some of them can be skipped. Now, I hit F1 there to avoid like having a black screen sort of. Thankfully, that black screen gets immediately cancelled by another picture or overlay. And I relog a bunch of times in order to skip a cutscene. Now this is the first big change of the route. Instead of going for the 10 rupees at that house over there, I immediately go to my out of bounds spot, because there is actually a 20 rupee chest just around the corner, which for some reason I just always overlooked. We need 30 rupees to buy 2 items that are gonna make the run a whole lot easier and possible. Now I jump out of bounds here and then make my way over to this Hylia Lake card piece right there and collect a couple more rupee shards while on my way to Hyrule Market. Now this is the hardest jump in the map. It looks very easy, it is not. And here I have to be careful. If I go too far on the edge, then I will drop into the water, and that is slow. The beginning of the run was pretty good. There are no real big mistakes except for like one. But so far, this is pretty much how it should go optimally. So now that we entered market, we're going to collect 20 more rupees from inside that house. Sprinting as this also comes with the side effect that you can sometimes just run through NPCs, which can slightly boost you forward if you do so. Not always, it has to be from a specific angle, but whenever I get the chance, I try to do that. Here I think I messed around with a mouse and hit something on accident. That's why that looked really awkward. Now here's where we will use our bucket. It is one of the only items that you can place in Adventurecraft non-debug mode. It also comes with the side effect that it can destroy trigger blocks and visible wall blocks when touched by a flowing source. Now I make my way up all the way by this cliff and then head into this house, which is pretty much the end of the game, and you get a post-game item here, and that's the Pegasus Boots, which allow you to double jump. Now the Pegasus Boots overall will make this run a whole lot easier and possible because I need to drop down here and I can't avoid fall damage with my water bucket, since water in this version isn't as OP as it is now. You will still take quite a lot of fall damage if the water is not deep enough. Now I go over here and collect 4 boats. Boats are very good, they are the best item in the game. They will allow me to clip through almost any wall in the game. And then, after I'm done with that, I will head over to Hyrule Castle to collect all the items from inside there. While on the bridge, I'm gonna try skipping a cutscene right there. And now that I'm in the castle, I'm immediately gonna collect some rupee shards while I'm here. This is the only time I'm gonna be going to the castle, so I'd rather collect everything while I'm already here. So I'm gonna go up this tower, collect the rupee shard, and then drop down and die. That comes with 2 side things that I respawn back in the main hall, and all the enemies despawn so I can easily traverse the area here. Now I'm gonna destroy an invisible wall here with my water blocks, and it gets very laggy for some reason because I think I was still playing on very far. You can hit that F button occasionally, sometimes. Now this is the first case of boat clipping. Doing it on glass is much easier because you get a vision and you don't continuously take damage while being stuck inside the glass. I need to right click the edge of that boat too, so in order to exit the boat again. You can also exit the boats by relogging, which is gonna come up very soon. But usually it's faster to just go back a bit and then right click. The only case in which it would be faster is a case like this one, where the boat is sideways, and, well, I just need to exit out really quick. And I would have to, like, slowly move through the wall in order to, like, be able to exit it again, so this way it's much faster. Now, I'm gonna go into Tingle's Cave and collect some rewards, since I can open the doors with my water bucket. Don't ask how, it just works. Now I accidentally trigger a cutscene here. You're not supposed to do that. But basically you can hit the inverter trigger blocks that keep the doors closed. Luckily, the AoE of the water helps out here a bit, so I don't really need to know the exact position, but it would help if I could remember those for once. Now this is the first dupe coming up. Duping is known in Minecraft since forever. It is always used in most of the speedruns. But you just basically throw down all the items you want to dupe, relog, then pick them up, and then hit all the 4. In Adventurecraft, it is, I have to wait a bit before hitting all the 4, because otherwise the game would crash. Now this also only happens in, I've noticed that specific Java versions handled that much better than other Java versions. Anyways, what you saw me there was use the slingshot. The slingshot is really good, since while right-clicking, I enter the boat, but I also shoot the boat at the same time with my slingshot, and which allows me to basically break the boat and, well, enter it at the same time. So basically, I'm just teleporting into a wall now, whenever I pull out a boat. And this is the only time the boat is actually being used for its actual purpose, going on water. crashing boats is kind of tedious, but if you sprint while on a boat, for some reason, it increases the chance of crashing even if you're not going at a very fast speed. Now I'm going to make my way over to the Prehistoric Temple. Now I don't have Lens of Truth, but I have a double jump boots. That'll be our replacement. In this area, skeletons can spawn everywhere, and they are not usually all that nice when it comes to letting you through. So getting through here without getting damaged once is okay. Now over here, just on the Prehistoric Temple, it happens to be just 4 chests with almost every item in the entire game. We're gonna pick almost every single one of those except for a candle and the lamp, since we need a lot of space. That is also the reason why we left the bag and the map behind in our storage. In this map, the balance between health potion, boats, and bomb arrows is the key to success, really. You will need bombs for pretty much almost every... not bomb arrows, yeah, well, boats and bomb arrows for pretty much every split in the run coming up. And health potions are also essential since, well, if we die, we don't usually hit all save points, so dying can be really detrimental at times. And staying alive overall is a pretty good thing. This is not like Zelda Adventure where you have like infinite health because you can dupe up to 1 billion apples. This does not happen in this map, sadly. Now something really weird happens here. Whenever I entered that or exited that windmill with my boat, I actually managed to pick up the boat again, which is not something that usually happens, so I ended up having way more boats than intended. But it wasn't that detrimental overall. Now, I'm gonna enter the Prehistoric Temple here. And here we see another use of the boat, and that is clipping behind triggered doors. Now you can place boats behind triggered doors, but not locked doors, so you just kind of have to take a bit of damage whenever you go through solid blocks. Boss doors, on the other hand, are quite simple. You just push the boats into them and then hit them with the slingshot. And then I can skip the entire boss by just walking over to this wall and just clipping through it. Now I'm gonna use this transition to activate the Lens of Truth. And then I'm gonna jump up on this tree, which is, by the way, really hard to do. I was really surprised when I actually got it. Now this is kind of a tricky chest. You still have to be in the wall and still taking damage while opening it. Otherwise you drop back in bounds, and you don't want that to happen. Now I'm gonna collect the rest of all the rupee shards and heart pieces in Death Woods, and then I'm gonna head over to Faron. Now this skeleton right there is really, this one is the most annoying skeleton in the entire map. It can get you stuck in so many ways, and there's pretty much no way of avoiding it either. Now back out of bounds, I make my way over to the Deco Tree, and I will destroy an invisible wall to get into it. And then use the hookshot on the ceiling, combined with the leaf that allows me to glide down and skip this cutscene right there. Now coming up is our first bomb arrow jump. These jumps are quite notorious to do, and also pretty random at times, because the bomb arrow damage you get is pretty much uncontrollable. Sometimes you just completely get annihilated by them, sometimes you don't take damage at all. Same goes for the knockback. Sometimes you can fly all over the place, and sometimes all your batteries are out and nothing works anymore. Overall, on this run, I had some pretty good bomb arrows. The thing is with bombs and bomb arrows is that bomb arrows are for speed and bombs are for precision. In this map, however, we have a capped amount of bombs that we can carry around, so bomb arrows is just the way to go. And obviously we free up one space by not carrying around the bomb bag, since for some reason you can't have bombs in your inventory, but you can have bomb arrows in your inventory. Now it's really good that I do Faron on this route first, since Faron actually gets really laggy at the end of the run pretty much, and it's a good way to avoid that by just making this extra circle here early on. Now here's another big bomb jump over there to Lost Woods. I don't know why I never had the idea to do that in previous runs, but it saves quite a bit of time. Now back into Lost Woods, I'm going to collect some more rupee shards and heart pieces and make my way over to the Forest Temple. Now here's the biggest mistake in the run. I tried to be a risky boy by trying to skip that trigger, but I fail, just barely, and then I immediately run to spikes, which means I have to go die again because I need full health. Mistakes happen. This is the biggest one of the run by far, so if I ever wanted to improve on this, that is how, by not messing that up. Now we're gonna go on top of the trees again and use that to skip all of Mido and pretty much the entire Sacred Forest Meadow. Now hookshotting is quite hard, but with the addition of like invisible walls around, it's even worse. Okay, now in Forest Temple, I'm quickly gonna just collect the heart piece and the rupee shard. I don't need the lens since I already collected that lens from the dev chest, which is, by the way, a legit item. It is inside the map, and anybody can obtain it. Now, thankfully, it just so happens that the Neculda shrine is right underneath the Forest Temple, so I can use a boat to clip inside of it, and then use that teleporter down here to just quickly warp to Neculda. Now this also places us at a pretty advantageous spot, where I can just hover over, or not hover over, but like glide over, I guess, to that heart piece, and then jump up to the graveyard and collect a rupee shard there. Now Neculda is kind of difficult, because managing your health in this area is quite difficult to do. There are a lot of bomb jumps, and you are not supposed to use all that many bomb arrows either. But it's mostly that you have pretty limited space by then, because you still have most of your boats that you're gonna be using. And also, since you only have 3 health pots at this time, or 4 at best. So I'm gonna dupe one more in here, just to make sure that I don't run out of bomb arrows, and over here I make a mistake by just picking up the items. I wasn't thinking probably. So I'm gonna have to drop these again. Now obviously that doesn't cost all that much in-game time, but RTA it's quite detrimental. Obviously for like PBs and such, you would always count the in-game time. In this map, it's quite difficult because it's a long run, and there's no in-game time given. I'll probably do something about that, like add an in-game timer script inside the map so that I can get one. I'm gonna boost myself over, do this heart piece down here, and then up boat is what I call it, or up B, to clip through that ice block right there. And this is basically where the map starts falling apart. You can already see that some JavaScripts are failing, which, if you see that, is usually not a good sign. Especially in this point. Whenever you see your chat get spammed with a reference error, usually you're in trouble. Thankfully, I didn't get all that much trouble in this run, but sometimes really bad things can happen. Now, this is an example of bomb arrows not working properly. Using 2 bomb arrows is quite risky at times, because they can just not work at all. There's a very low probability of that working. Especially if you don't jump, like I did. Okay, now this is a really sketchy part. First of all, I'm gonna delete some trigger blocks, and then I'm gonna delete a effect block. And then I'm gonna sort of like hook shot into the dungeon. Now what this did is avoid 2 triggers, basically. One will erase the fog later on, and the other one it's basically just skips a cutscene. The most important part about that is the fog being gone, since the fog is very dense in this area. And it will stay there for a very long time, that fog. And being able to see where you're going, especially while you're in the air, because if you're bomb jumping, you see nothing when the fog is activated. Now, I almost managed to do a really kind of difficult skip here, and it's skipping this boss right there. For some reason, when you get close to that hookshot chest, which, by the way, I need that hookshot anyways, because one of my hookshots is not a legit hookshot. If for some reason it also triggers that boss. I don't know why it does, but, well, it just works. Now here's the boss. That was the boss. And that is the first part of Neculda. Now to the second part of Neculda, and as you can see, the weather is still pretty clear. If I didn't delete that block right there, the fog would have started again, and well, we would see nothing. Now we're just gonna collect the rest of all of Necluda's stuff. We don't need the Leviathan axe either, because, well, we already have the Leviathan axe. And now we're going under the ice again. And over here I took some fall damage, so I was kind of scared in order to bomb jump here, but I didn't really want to mess up this run. I just wanted to have a rundown with the new route, and well, this is the result. So now I'm gonna jump up here and then hit this tiny piece of wood that I can just barely see in order to get up that hill there. And now we're making our way over to the ice cavern. And it's very important that I hit a safe block at the ice cavern, which is right about now. I usually take the light blocks, or like the light levels, as like a sort of like visual cue for where I am or where the triggers are. Now die here, and I respawn back here. And that is pretty much all of Neculda. Now we're gonna bomb jump in this direction. And here we go. We're now at the Gorn Mines. There's only one item that we need from here, and it's this heart piece. And that's pretty much it. Now we're going back out. And we're doing one more, or well, we're gonna do one more dupe later. Usually would dupe here, but I just happen to have quite a bit of life left still. So I can drink this potion and then dupe some more. Now this is the most bomb jump intensive area. A lot of jumps, quite a lot of damage taken. And, well, overall it's a pretty rough area. If I die here, I would spawn all the way back at the ice cavern. So, yeah. So I'm gonna bomb jump around all over Death Mountain now and collect some more rupee shards and heart pieces. Now, one thing I should mention is that whenever you die, your bomb arrows actually get stronger in terms of knockback, but also damage. This can be fixed by simply relogging, but I actually used that a couple of times already. You could see it in when I did it in Ice Cavern when I died, and something really scary happened there. You saw me drop down to a quarter heart, and basically what happened there is I usually shoot 3 arrows, but I shot my 3 arrows too high. So what happened there is that my bomb arrow exploded right in front of my face. As like sort of like a chain reaction. As bomb arrows will always explode at the exact same time when another one explodes. So now we're basically out of bounds on Dragon's Belly, the dungeon in this area. We're gonna clip inside of it into this room right here. And this is the hardest bomb jump, by the way. There are a lot of like these vines here that you can, well, bump against. This one is quite easy because it sorta has like a setup. And then we go back out of bounds, and here's another mistake I made. Well, not I made, but bomb arrows decided to not give me the height I needed. But it didn't matter so much, only lost a couple of seconds, so... Now we're making... Now we're making our way all the way over to, like, the area over here. Which is pretty much the end of the dungeon. And something stupid happens here. I clip inside the wall, but I miss my shot, so I have to relog. So now I'm activating 2 cutscenes at once, which is a good time to dupe. And now I'm basically just going around Death Mountain and collecting the rest of the rupee shards. And here's where our Neculda fog would have ended if we would have kept it. But that is way too long, and that's not gonna happen. So I'm going to use my water bucket here to destroy a camera block, so I can avoid a cutscene from happening. And then 3 more blocks here for mobs from spawning. So what I can do here is sort of like use this wall to boost myself along. Sadly, I held right for a bit too long there, so I hit the vine anyways. Anyways, I'm going to shoot the bomb arrows at the side of these blocks now, which hopefully destroys these blocks right there. And then I'm gonna boost over there, but fail because bomb arrows. And here's another instance of bomb arrows just not doing their thing. And here's just refill on our health potions. Hello bomb arrows, thanks for not blowing these up. Now we're gonna make our way over to this this house right here in Hyrule Market. This is pretty much the only one we're gonna get right now, since it's just conveniently nearby. And then we clip back out. And now we're basically just heading over to Hyrule Field, and we're gonna clear all of that. Hyrule Field is pretty much self-explanatory, there's not much going on. So just enjoy the run. Except for this cave. This cave is special. I placed my water bucket down to destroy some triggers. I'm sorry. Because if I were to activate them, a bunch of enemies would spawn and they would lag really hard. Now upcoming is probably the second hardest bomb jump, it's right there. If you hit the ceiling, then you get stuck. You kind of have to hit like these white bar beams that come by. If you can get that, then you can pretty much float all the way over to the hard piece. But if you miss it, you just kind of have to go the normal way. Also, I managed to activate this cutscene, which basically disables my HOT or GUI for a while. The jump backward is a bit easier, but I still managed to fail that, so, well, guess I just suck. But that was pretty much the hardest part done of the map. Now we're finally going to get rid of our eggs. You need 12 eggs to get a heart piece over at London. And we're also gonna hit F1 here, just to avoid a black screen. And this is the only time the power bracelets are gonna be used. And this is also something new. You can just access that chest right there through the wall. I take a lot of damage right here, so I'm kind of forced to kill these slimes. Usually you would be going through this entire map by only just killing one single mob or two. But, well, sometimes there's just no way around. There's, by the way, a really mean invisible ceiling there that you can just sometimes bash against and die. I reload here because it's getting really laggy, by the way. And here I noticed I was playing on very far. Here's another convenient health refill, just for the next couple bomb jumps. Now this is usually the point where I know that I have all my shards, because the next stack of shards starts right there. I use another water bucket here just to destroy some more trigger blocks, because this cave with mobs inside is quite hellish. And I failed this jump, so instead I decided to go with the really slow water route there. I'm sorry if this is very dark, but there's just no way to turn up the brightness in this Minecraft version. But now we're at Hylia Lake. Also pretty simple stuff. This is basically just the next hour of this run is just going around and collecting all the rupee shards. Like I said, you use a lot of bomb arrows doing these like mid-game to end-game splits. And here we are going to see like a certain sort of like bomb boost. I sorta did it. Well, usually what you were supposed to do is slightly go inside that water, and you will have a very flat bomb boost. That can usually only be done in either like water or from a very specific angle. Now we're gonna actually get the Master Sword, and usually would get your Master Sword over at Neculda. But you can also already obtain your Master Sword right here, since usually you would use your Master Sword in order to access this sort of shrine area. I almost missed my boat there, by the way. And here's the ocarina. The ocarina has a single warp, which is why it isn't as important as in like Zelda Adventure. 99366 gets you to the desert, which is where we want to be. And the first thing we're going to do is refill all of our health by going through the wall over here. This is basically the end of the Triforce Temple. We don't actually need the hookshot from the Triforce Temple, since we already have two hookshots, two legit hookshots, that is. Here we reapply our Lens of Truth, since it actually disabled throughout our like restarting and resetting. And the reason is for this wall right there. If we this wall requires you to have Lens of Truth reactivated. Now we're gonna go back down here and collect this heart piece. It's better to wait for this heart piece, since as you can see, I did a bunch of bomb jumps, and I'd like to get the full heal when I'm already done with doing all of these. I'm pretty sure you can also, like, if you still have quite a bit of health left, you can do this chunk right there also. Doing desert is pretty much, well, up to you and how you do it. And this is the only other skeleton in the run that is really annoying. This one, I actually would have got the chill skeleton that didn't outright attack you. I killed it anyways, just because I was gonna make sure. Because it can trap you in that corner really easily. Now, I used the boat right there to go through an invisible wall, because, again, I don't have my bucket ready. Usually would skip this cutscene so you could see where all your items are, but, well, not today. This jump was, by the way, way too high. Now, there are two caves right here where spiders can spawn. If they spawn, well, you're pretty much screwed. And upcoming is how much luck I usually have with my bomb arrows. This was probably, yeah, the other big mistake in the run, not getting that right. Wasted a lot of bomb arrows, but I still had enough at the end of the run, even though it was like a close call. I still get one more free dupe since I have to duplicate the Master Ore. Which, by the way, is still a legit thing to do, as the Master Ore is considered a quest item and not a collectible that you need. So this is, I think, the last dupe of the run, because I'm very low on bomb arrows now. And we're gonna dupe our rupees one final time so we get about 9,000 rupees. Actually, you need about 7,000, but I wasn't sure if that was enough rupees, so just to make sure I duped extra. And this is the crash that you can get by duping. Now we're just gonna quickly just get to the ship, as the place we went through just was right at the end. Also, hey, look at this. This is a other boss that we're gonna kill by literally just walking away. Right there. This is the Ocean Man split, as I like to call it. It's basically a test of all your health potion and bomb arrow resources that you have. Like I said, the last two splits of this speedrun is basically just a resource check. You have to have enough health potions and bomb arrows and enough boats, or both. Here's another case of bomb arrows just being bomb arrows. And this is usually incredibly hard to get up there, but then I almost managed to do so, but well, there's no way I would get in the run. Or well, waste enough time on that. And I really, really wanted this to PB. And here's another case of bomb arrows just... well, they did what they did, but I didn't hold backwards there. And here's another case of bomb arrows just doing bomb arrow things. You get the point. That is not supposed to happen. And neither is that. This was our last item that we needed from the Bay Area, and now we're heading over to Market to get our final items. And as you can see, I only have like one more stack of bomb arrows that I can use. Thankfully, there are a lot of spots where you can use the hook shot in Market. And this is the shield, one of like the first items you would ever get, but, well, not here. Not here. And here's a case of something really rare happening. Sometimes you can just turn immune to bomb arrows. I don't know why that happens and what causes it. It seems to be something specific to this map, however. Probably something in the script department going wrong, but, well, I don't know. And here we are going to get our final weapon, the Enhanced Master Sword. And then we clip through this wall right here. And now we're gonna collect our lamp, finally. Here's a pretty unlucky shot of me. So now we're gonna make our way over to Ganon. And we're not gonna do much over here. We're just going to activate this cutscene and then leave. And then exit the game actually, because I need to see my hotbar. Now, very important is what did here is that we set our spawn coordinates right now over at the last stream of the game, and that is very important. Now, one thing that we cannot do here now is die, otherwise the map would end, pretty much. So, here we clip through this wall, which is just conveniently over here, where the zeros are. So we can clip inside here and collect one of the last rupee shots that we need. You know when you have enough when your stack goes to 36. That means you have every shard in the game. And this is the only time where we are going to use our sword. Now I make one last mistake here by letting go of the hook shot too late. But thankfully I can just blow him off with the leaf. Dying to this guy is really hard when you have a health potion or at least like full health. And you get a full heal, or not a full heal, you used to get a full heal after this battle, but not anymore. Anyways, this was a pretty quick kill. And now we can get one of our last heart pieces here. And we're going to clip back inbounds now. Fun fact, I lost the run due to dying to this fall damage right here by pulling out the leaf too late. And also, fun fact, this was the first run of the day without any practice. Now I have to actually get stuck in the boat here. Or in that ceiling right there, because if I were to like walk the other way around, I would have hit a safe block and that would have ended the run pretty much instantaneously. And this is why we needed all the money in the world, because these are quite expensive. And if I get too close to that gate right there, I also hit a safe block and that would have also ended the run. Now I have 100% of every item. I have every rupee shard, I have all heartbeats, I have all items. So this is how I'm gonna die with full health. I'm gonna hookshot the ground here, talk to this person, and mash the enter bar, and I'm dead. And now I'm in the final room of the game, and I can enter the credits. And that is Specter of Light 100% in 5704. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.